We're here talking with Chris Hall, head coach of the men's and women's track teams and cross-country teams. Going in, what kind of expectations did you have for your track teams this winter?
I think that at the beginning of the season, my number one goal with our team is always just to come together as a team, and that, we start trying to form bonds and develop those relationships that I think people really work well together with. And I know that's maybe not exactly what you're looking for, but I think that those are our initial goals always. In terms of the season, though, and what we would like to accomplish, I came into this season feeling like our women's team in particular may have a shot at fighting to win our UA Conference Championship. It's something we haven't done for about 4 years, and I think that we have pretty complete teams right now on both the men's and the women's side, but also probably some out-front scoring power in a lot of the women's events that I think will give us an opportunity to challenge WashU and Emory in particular as really outstanding teams in our conference and to fight to win that. And so our team goals are always going to probably be centered more around our conference meet, just because it is a full team meet versus a national championship where we get a handful of individuals qualified and hopefully have great success with them. On the men's side, we were second indoors and third outdoors last year, and I feel that we're probably in a pretty similar position going into this season. The interesting thing is always trying to figure out exactly what the UAA has every year. We have some really outstanding freshmen that will come into this conference every season that we just aren't aware of until we really get into the mid portion of the season. And so we're trying to figure that out, where we might fit into the UA right now, but I feel that our women should be in contention to win, and that our guys are our top 2-3 team in the conference, and hopefully if things come together really well for the guys, that we'll finish a little bit higher.
Both your cross-country teams reached the NCAA championships in the fall and had some standout performers. Has any of that success carried over in the performances of your distance runners in the track season?
I think that our women on the middle distance side, it's carried over. I think that they're really recharged, maybe invigorated going into a different distance. And I'm seeing a lot of really strong performances in the middle distances. I feel like a lot of our women that are wired more as long distance runners might be having a little bit of trouble just getting recharged right now, because they're beginning over again, the same process. And we'll have high goals and high expectations with that group, and I do think a lot of that success is carrying over. I think right now we're probably experiencing that a little bit more on the middle distance side than we are on the long distance side. Our guys, on the other hand, I think are really invigorated coming off of that cross-country season, partly because they had a disappointing national meet. I think they had a really outstanding season and a good regional meet, but a national meet that they probably weren't really proud of. And I think immediately they got very goal-orientated and have come into this season really pretty ready to compete, not just on the physical side, but mentally I think they're pretty sharp right now.
What kind of improvements have you seen from the team even at this early point of the season?
I think our teams are more complete this year. I feel that we're getting a lot out of our women's sprinters, hurdlers, and jumpers, more than what we were last year, in particular at this time of the year. And it's great to see that I feel that their fall and what they did in the fall helped to prepare them better this year than what they did in the fall and how it prepared them a year ago. And so I just think we're further ahead in some of those events. The big concern is that we stay healthy. I think we're already, beginning to feel a lot of, hopefully not serious injuries, but maybe some precursors to some things that could derail us. partly because of some pretty difficult weather that we've been dealing with outside, and being forced to spend a little bit more time on the indoor track than what we would like to. And it's breaking down some of our kids a little bit. We just really have to be very, very careful as a coaching staff right now that we don't overdo things. In particular with the kids that look like they're really ready to run or jump, throw, whatever it might be, really well right now, that we just curb our enthusiasm a little bit and understand it's a 5-month season.
Which athletes have had particularly good results so far?
You know, I think we've had a lot of them. I'm going to miss some kids here in a short period of time, but if I'm going to think through some real quickly here, you know, I think that Pam Yu has gotten off to a great start. I think Pam's sitting third in the country right now in the long jump. That may have changed this past weekend. And she's leading our conference in both the long and the triple jump. Our throwers are doing very well. In Kim, in particular, one of our female throwers who was a conference champion last year in the shot and the weight, is well out in front of the conference in both of those events right now and competing very, very well. Michelle Dobbs, a freshman on our team, is undefeated so far this season through 3 meets at 3 different distances, and I think running really, really well, as is Brianna Hickey right there. I think you have to keep an eye on Catherine Young, who was 9th in the country in cross country, and I know that Cat's going to have a great season for us. So we've got some really special things going with those athletes that I mentioned there, as are some others. I think Michaela Hamill has gotten off to a great start on the women's side, but she's one of our kids that's a little bit nicked up right now, and that we need to get healthy. On the men's side, I think Dan Povitsky has gotten off to an outstanding start. You know, Dan was, 58th in the country in cross, which was a really wonderful accomplishment for him, and he's running great right now, sitting at the top of the conference in the 3,000 meter run. Michael Bennett is leading the country right now in the pole vault, and just gotten off to a great start, you know, going 490, breaking his school record, and like I said, leading the country in that event. And he looks like, you know, he's going to be one of the top dogs at the end of the season in that event. Again, health and so forth, staying good. I think Michael Frasco is running outstanding right now. I'm excited about our throws group. It's a young throws group on the men's side, but I really like that group and what Coach Murphy, Nicole Murphy, who's a former All-American for us, is doing with that group right now. I think that it's a developing group, but it's a group that we really needed, and I like where we're at there right now.